what are we going to do with the money? If you have money, you can't take the money with you. You can spend before your end. But if you keep on, if you be conjuice and you keep the money, what you keep, others will sweep. What you keep, others will sweep. Then what is the point? You weep now and you suffer and you try to keep the money for people who don't even matter. So with that note, let us try to see if there are any rituals you all are believing in. Many of you may be believing in some stories. You may be believing in some rituals, some superstitions. Let us try to analyze. Is there a superstition which you believe in today that becomes, there are 4 limitations in this world. Have I told you the 4 limitations? Have I told you? You remember the 4 limitations? The 4 limitations are called fences, farces, faces, and forces. What are the 4 limitations? A fence, a farce, a face, and a force. There are 4 limitations in this world, and we should break through all the 4. We should not let a fence block us, not a farce. Today we are talking about Manglik, it's a farce. Not a face. We are influenced by a person unfairly, and not a force. Sometimes it's a religion. Sometimes it's a belief system. It's forcing you. And this is not correct. So over to you, Administrator. Do we have questions ready today? Dattatray. Yes, sir. Dattatray, your time.
Shivam.
Shivam, sir.
Sir, for liberation, we have to free from all desires.
You have to?
Desires should be. सब desires है ना, वो dissolve करने पड़ेंगे. Desires.
सभी.
हाँ, सभी हाँ. The desire of liberation, also a desire.
So do you think you should give up that also, you think? What do you think? What do you think?
One person said me, the desire of liberation should be dissolved.
Wrong. This is wrong. Recently, somebody sent me a video of some Swami, some Guru, some Swami. He sent me a video, and they asked my opinion. In that video, that Guru or the Swami is telling, all addictions are bad. All addictions. Addiction for drinking is bad. Addiction for people is bad. Addiction for coffee is bad. You must give up all addictions.
Okay.
What about addiction for God? What about addiction for bhakti? What about addiction for coming on a call, ask AiR call every day? That's also bad?
No.
Because your intelligence is ready to answer. No. Dattatray said, no. I know what is right. So Dattatray, only when Buddha said all desires are bad, he meant desire for the material world. Okay. All desires for the material world, they are bad. One very famous Bible verse which has been manipulated. I don't know if you have heard this. Many people say money is the root cause of all evil. What they say? Money is the root. And they say Bible. It is 100% wrong. The Bible does not say money is the root cause for evil. The Bible says love for money is the root cause of all evil.
I see.
Money is not the root cause. Love for money is the root cause.
Yeah.
So, Dattatray, we should, God has given us intelligence. So, Dattatray, we should not believe anybody.
Yeah.
You should not even believe me. When I tell something also, you should say, no, I want to ask question. Why? How? That is the right way. That is the way to go forward in enlightenment.
Yes.
Thank you, Dattatray.
Sure.
Rajkumar Mohana. Rajkumar is there? Rajkumar or Rajendra?
Yes, Shivam AiR.
तो हाँ बहुत दिन के I thought you were not available. I didn't see you after a long time.
Yes, I'm there.
बोलो बोलो राजकुमार.
No, I'm listening to others. Nowadays, I'm listening to the question.
Okay, I have not seen you for a few days. Tell me.
I didn't ask question from some days. I'm listening to others. I thought let the others get time to get questions and answers.
Okay, what is your
Best.
question today?
So I'm giving chance to the others.
Okay.
So the question is that is believing in rituals is a waste of money here? Because
of
we
money?
believe in many rituals which is said by the pandits or priests and all. During marriages or during after death even so many rituals you follow.
Believing in ritual is a waste of money.
Rituals.
Believing in ritual is a waste of money.
Believing in rituals is a waste of money.
Believing in ritual is not only waste of money,
Yeah.
it's waste of time, it's waste of life.
Should we perform or not?
Should not. Strictly.
Should we perform or not according to
Sanjay Das, can you hear me, Sanjay Das? Is the voice clear? I think Rajkumar, your line is not very clear.
Yeah.
So Rajkumar, please listen to the answer.
But what are the priests and all the advisors, the priests?
When the priest is telling you to do some ritual, ask him to explain. Please ask the priest to explain why I should do the ritual.
No, actually, there is no power. Power is not there.
I think your line is Sanjay Das, the line is not clear of Rajkumar, right? We are not able to hear you, Rajkumar. But however, if you can hear, we got your question. Can you listen to my answer? I hope you can listen to us, but the others will benefit from the answer. Rajkumar has given us a very interesting question. So if some pujari, if some priest tells you to follow a ritual, you should say why. They make you do 3 hours puja, wedding time, birth time, death time. They want the more puja, the more money they will take from you. The more number of rice bags, dal, atta, all they will give you some list of. And nowadays, I found it very funny. I don't know, Sudeep, you have experienced this or not. Once I told the pujari, many years back, this happened. So, I have to bring all these list of saman. So nowadays the pujari says, you don't worry, you just Google pay me. You just Google pay. I will transfer this to the saman shop and I will get. And it's so funny that all this is such a racket. I am calling it a racket. Because if they say, if you don't do it, something wrong will befall you. So they even manipulate you, they threaten you, they make you fear. And this is a big problem. And people say, "Arey, better I do the puja, ya." देखो माजी, आपको करना है तो करो, नहीं करना है तो नहीं करो, लेकिन कुछ हो गया तो हमारे पास आके मत पूछना ऐसा क्यों हुआ. Have you heard people speaking like this language? This is very bad. And we have to make the change. We have to put our foot down and we should not follow any of these rituals. Too many rituals. We should not follow it. So next question, please. Tanisha, question from Tanisha. Tanisha, you unmute yourself, please.
Shivoham AiR.
Yeah, Shivoham, Tanisha.
So yes, in continuation with the last topic, I remember like when my dad passed away, I had like 7 days of rituals. which had to be done with the pundits and everything. So I didn't even get a time to properly grieve for my father, because there were so many rituals that was lined up that you do this, do that near the Ganga and this and that. So now I question that, what was the point of all the rituals? So anyway, my question is now is that, so whenever people get married or, they get into this marriage bond, people tend to check the horoscopes, right? Yes, and so sometimes there's Manglik, non-Manglik, and all that, and they tend to check the horoscopes. So I want to understand that what is the importance of horoscopes on here, and how heavy is the importance? Because I understand that importance is very heavy. You need to meet certain standards like 18 and above. That is the number, minimum number for a person to be peacefully married with someone, or else like you are out of the chart, you're kicked out. So I just want to understand that, how does horoscope play such a strong role in today's world? It's again the stars and the planetary positions what the gurus
How
explain.
come? How come these horoscopes work for Indians and don't work for Americans, Tanisha?
Yeah, that
How
is the
come? How come
question
Americans
I
and how
wonder.
Americans and Chinese and Russians, they don't know the meaning of all this? How come they don't have horoscope?
Yes. Yes.
So this is something that you should contemplate. This is a business model. A business model created by the priests. That's why when Buddha went in quest of the truth, he started a new religion called, he didn't start a new religion, but he started a new way of belief. And he said, stop all these pujaris, stop all these pandits. They were called the priests, right? They were called Brahmins. In the ancient days, there were 4 classes: the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and the Sudras. There were 4 classes.
Correct.
So even the Kshatriyas, the kings, they were manipulated by these Brahmins. The Brahmin wearing a long chotis, you remember they
Yeah,
wear a
yeah.
long, and they will tell the king, you cannot do like this. And the king would be scared. What if the curse of the Brahmin falls upon me? This is completely what we call mithya. In the study of enlightenment, this is called mithya. Mithya means basically in English language nonsense. This is complete nonsense. See, one thing you must understand. Today you get a WhatsApp. A WhatsApp tells you you have cancer. Take 4 lemons, squeeze the lemons, add tomato juice, add orange juice, then mix it nicely, keep it in the sunlight for 30 minutes, and drink it, and your cancer will be gone. So will it go?
No.
You know this is nonsense, right? You know it's just a fairy tale. Everybody comes with one new story. Everybody will create their own thing. Somebody says carrots are going to be carrots will make you die. Stop eating carrots. No, you don't believe in this nonsense.
Correct.
You have to. Unfortunately, let me tell you, our society is completely under the influence of these rituals.
Yes.
Our society is completely brainwashed, and that's a big problem. And because of that, we suffer. The pujaris, they tell
How
us
do we
to
tend to convince, our parents, the people who are closest to us, that not to follow this ritual so
No, you can't.
deeply?
You don't convince. You don't follow. You don't follow, and you don't teach the next generation to follow. That's the 2 things we can do. I can't change my parents. My parents are already, they are indoctrinated. Their brain has been programmed to believe in it. For example, somebody in South India, I don't know how many of you are from North India. In South India, there's something called Rahu Kalam. How many of you follow Rahu Kalam? Alok, you follow Rahu Kalam, Alok? In South India, you
I
cannot
I don't believe in anything, honestly.
Okay. No, in South India, you cannot go out of your house on Monday at 7:30, on Tuesday at 9 o'clock, on Wednesday at 10:30, on Thursday at 11 o'clock. Some nonsense. I mean, but same thing, when a person goes from Karnataka to Punjab, there's no Rahu Kalam. How come Rahu Kalam disappears? And in South India, it is a big thing. In Tamil Nadu, marriage cannot happen. Muhartam cannot happen. The chief minister cannot take oath in his position because the Rahu Kalam. What is this Rahu Kalam? Who knows? Gautam knows about Rahu Kalam. Gautam, you know Gautam Rahu Kalam?
Yeah, I know, but I don't follow it. My parents will follow.
Okay. So, my dear friends, we need to get out of all this, Tanisha. We have to get out and we have to put our foot down. Okay,
Yes.
next question, Administrator. Gaurish. Gaurish. Is it typed? Please read.
When there is no heaven or hell, then how we will join the divine?
When there is no heaven or hell, how we will join the divine? So, Gaurish, you think there is heaven and hell, and then Indigo has 3 flights every day going there? From which airport? From Bombay or Calcutta or Bangalore? Or where does the flight go to heaven and hell? There is no heaven and hell is not a physical location, my dear Gaurish. Heaven and hell is right here on earth. And you experience it when you take rebirth. You experience heaven and hell when you come back in a new life. Therefore, how do you go to heaven and hell? Through your karma. Your karma is recorded by you yourself. It's a self-evaluation. The divine, the soul, the Atma is inside you. That Atma evaluates you, your performance, and you don't go to heaven or hell. Who will go? The body is burnt. Then who will go? The mind and ego is transferred like software. Software gets transferred from one device to another device. The antahakarna or the subtle body gets transferred from one body to another body. But heaven and hell is not somewhere in the stars. Heaven and hell is right here on earth. That is the answer. Next question.
Take your question.
I saw Alok asking a question. Not a question. So, how can I develop a spiritual quotient? Have you heard of this? Sanjay Das, have you heard of spiritual quotient? Somebody asked this question to me, and I've come back on Facebook. It's the second time I'm getting this question. We all know about IQ. You know about IQ, Kumar Swami? You know IQ? Intelligence quotient. And recently they started coming out with something new called EQ. Ajita, have you heard of EQ? Emotional quotient. What is your IQ? What is your EQ? And now somebody is asking, how do I develop a SQ? Spiritual quotient. See, the spiritual and intelligence quotient is how intelligent you are. How evolved, how sharp is your intelligence. Your emotional quotient is how stable a person are you emotionally. A spiritual quotient is how evolved you are in the science of the spirit. Do you realize you are not the body? Do you realize you are not the mind? You have a body. You seem to have a mind, but you can't find the mind. And the body, it comes after you are conceived, and the body dies and people say you passed away. When you realize I am the divine spirit, the soul, the Atma, that is called spiritual quotient. Your spiritual quotient is highest when you are enlightened, when you overcome ignorance, when you realize the truth. See, and the truth is not belonging to me or you or to any religion. The truth is the truth. For example, everything on your ID card is fake. Everything on your ID card, they say, I am Gautam Chaudhary. No, I am not Gautam Chaudhary. My name is. The photograph they show is constantly changing. Your permanent address is not your permanent address. Your date of birth is not your date of birth. You were born 9 months before you were conceived. So you have to question if you want to increase your spiritual quotient. If you want to go by what the world says, then you go. Then you follow the world. I always say, either you follow the herd or you fly like a bird and you explore the skies to get the right answers. So next question, please.
Yes, Bridget.
Bridget. Yes, Bridget.
I am right, you. But
You
I
are
would
right.
like to.
Yes, my dear Bridget, I will read your answer question now. What happens when doctor play God and make life by in vitro procreation? The soul is reborn normally. Can you explain your question, Bridget? What happens when the doctor play God, when the doctor behaves like a God and makes
Yeah.
life by vitro procreation?
In vitro procreation, yes. It's when when doctor take one ovule and one spermatozoid and put inside and
Test tube.
make
in the test tube or in implantation, the
Yeah.
artificial fertilization. Okay.
Yeah.
So this taking of the sperm and the ovum, the ova, and trying to make it fertilize, can they be sure of doing it? Can the doctor be sure of doing it?
Mm.
Cannot be sure of doing it. So then sometimes they will say the sperm count is not good, or sometimes they will say the ovary is not fertile enough to be able to be fertilized. In reality, Bridget, the soul will create that birth only if the karma permits it. It is not possible for a man. For example, I'm asking you a question. Can we make sure the child is male or female? Can we put some medicine and change the sperm and the ovum and create male, female? Can we do it?
Yes, we can do it by
Not
IDM.
by changing the gene. So these things will not work normally. When you try to change all this, it can create an abnormalcy in the child. It can create, because you are not letting the natural process happen. So this can be a big issue, and the child may die. It's not
But
so.
the rebirth, the soul rebirth inside this procreation can become loss more easy, no be normally, I don't know how to say in English, but can be mixed.
See, the soul is only the life. The soul has nothing to do with the sperm and the ovum. The soul is nothing to do with the body. The soul is the life. Now, who is going to be born in that body? When you take one sperm and an ovum and it fertilizes, who is the person who is going to come in that body? That depends on karma.
Okay.
So suppose that person as mentally, if something goes wrong, because the doctor is trying to do some, with what you say, vitro, in French you are using that, the artificial insemination. In India, you call these, you have got fertility experts. In India, we have many fertility clinics, and it's very common. It's very common for somebody to even plant the fertilized cell in some other woman's womb for it to grow for 9 months. But all these things do not influence the soul. The
Okay.
soul is the power of God. And we have to understand only two things. One, the soul is not affected, the soul is a power. And two, who is the person being born? That person is carrying their karma. That's all the 2 points we need to understand. But if you ask me, should we do all these things? Should we try to do all these things? No. Why should we do these things? This is because we are in the material world. We don't understand the meaning of life. That's why we do all these complications, because of our ignorance. Thank you. Very, very interesting
Thank you
question.
so much.
Thank you. Very different and interesting question. So is there any other question live before we go to? There's a question from Vani. Why do the Upanishads sometimes call the absolute truth as formless, nameless, and devoid of qualities? Because the energy of the absolute is beyond human comprehension. I often ask you this question, right? Can you close your eyes and see me with your ears? Can you see me with your ears? Is it possible? Rajendra, can you see with your ears? Why you cannot see? Why you cannot see with your ears, Rajendra?
Because we can see with eyes and hear with ears.
It can't be visible by ears, no, sir.
But why you cannot see with ears? Why I'm asking? Anybody? Why you cannot see with ears?
Because ears are not meant to see.
Now that is the right answer. The ears are not meant to see, and the eyes are not meant to hear. A human being is not meant to define God. A human being is only meant to realize God. Therefore, in the Upanishad said that God is formless. God is not Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Krishna, Rama. These are just names because we want to pray to a form. It is very difficult to pray to the air. It is very difficult to pray with something invisible. So as a child, we learn to pray. And the power is nameless. There is no name. But we give name. Lakshmi, 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 Lakshmi Puja, Lakshmi, we want money. Durga, Durga, Durga. We give names. Why we give names? Because we don't realize God. The moment you give, you know God is everywhere, then God becomes formless. God becomes nameless. My dear friends, today I had a couple of calls. Sometimes some people in the audience, I will not reveal the names, they call me and have a long discussion on some different points of view. You see, every individual in the ultimate analysis, we are all going to die, which means our body is going to die. What should we do before we die? Do we want to earn more money? If you earn more money, you will leave behind. What you earn, others will burn. Do we want to do good karma? Today I had a very interesting call, and I'm giving you the essence of this call, of the call with one of your fellow seekers of the Ask AiR. One of your own seekers from this group had a very long 20-minute, 30-minute call with me. And this is the question I asked. Do you want more money? No. Okay, do you want to do good karma? He said, yes, I want to do good karma. Then I said, do you know the meaning of good karma? If you do good karma, you will come back to this earth. You will be reborn again. So I asked the question, do you want to come back to this earth? Do you want to be reborn again? What is the answer? I don't want to come back. How many of you want to come back to this world? It's very simple. If you want to come back, just do good karma. It's no brainer, no complication. Just do good karma. You will come back. So Alok says, I want to come back. Just do good karma, Alok. It's very simple. Because if you plant mangoes, you will get mangoes. Simple principle of the law of the universe. But the ultimate goal is not to come back. Because if you come back, you are sure to face the pain of the body. You are sure to face pain of the body, misery of the mind, and agony of the ego. We experience a triple suffering. Therefore, I asked this gentleman, you want to come back? He said, no, I don't want to come back. I want enlightenment. I want moksha. I want mukti. I said, then you please work towards that. Our ultimate goal is that. If you want to come back, my friends, you don't need to worry. I have too many questions. Ask AiR is not required. If you want to come back to this world, it's very simple. Just follow the path of good karma. I can give you a prescription. You will come back with a good body. Do good karma. Serve as many people as you can, in as many ways as you can, as often as you can. Do as much good as you can. But I can tell you one thing. What the Buddha said, the Buddha was the enlightened one. What did he say? Samsara is got dukkha. Anybody who comes back in this world must suffer. You will grow old, the body will decay, the body will get diseased, ultimately you will die, you will leave everything behind. So with that note, I see an important interjection from Ajitek asking, what about the spiritual retreat? The spiritual retreat is now fixed for Tuesday, I think 10 a.m. 9:45 is tea and assembling. And the poster been put up? Assembly at 9:45 on Tuesday morning. 9:45. The retreat starts from 10 a.m. onwards. Sudeep, you're taking the initiative of this. So Sudeep is the one who has triggered this. It's in Bangalore at the office of AiR Foundation, AiR, AiR Institute of Realization. So anybody wanting to come, you can come. If some of you want to join on Zoom,
What they will do?
yes,
Means what they will
I can't hear you.
what they will do, sir? There.
You watch on Zoom. You come online on Zoom and you watch what we will do. We will be doing
Okay.
dancing, and we will be doing so much tamasha, and we'll be doing so much partying and eating and drinking. So many things we'll be doing.
Okay, sir. Thank
We
you.
are having, Karthik, I'm joking. We are going to have a retreat on enlightenment. This is an
Okay.
enlightenment retreat. So we are
Okay,
all
sir.
going to meet in Bangalore on Tuesday. Whoever is coming, and the rest can come online. As I told you, I'll be sharing. Somebody asked Kashmir. Kashmir is next week. Kashmir is next week. Retreat in Kashmir. If anybody wants to join, it's next week. So it's up to you. Every week there is a possible retreat. Every week. So you decide when you want to join the retreat. But somebody like Sudeep took the initiative for the Bangalore retreat. Everybody must take one person must take the initiative. So we are calling this retreat Sudeep's retreat. What are we calling the retreat? Sudeep's retreat. Anybody please label this retreat will be known as Sudeep's retreat. So anybody wants to come, you have to follow Sudeep. He is the master of ceremonies. He will decide everything. He will take the initiative. I will be his humble servant, and I will follow whatever he says. I will be at your disposal. So with that note, my dear friends, we are all on this train. Today I saw a new train. You saw the new train that has come? A new train has been launched today in Europe. It is called the Euro train or something. It goes through all the 26 Schengen countries. Very interesting. But while we are busy making a train that will go to 26 countries, we should make the train that will take us to destination enlightenment. We want enlightenment. We want liberation. We want unification with God. That is the goal. And thank you for creating this platform, all of you. Because of your divine presence, every day we have such interesting questions and answers. As I told you, that I bow down to you in gratitude for your amazing questions. May God bless you all. Tomorrow, our date is at 8. I thank you.